Hey, this is Coach Jason here at Art of War MMA and Fitness. In this video, I'm going to show you a couple of very common, effective defenses to the single leg takedown. In a previous video, we looked at a few options that we can run offensively with the single leg, so I just want to talk about a couple options that we can do defensively off the single leg. Let's start with a situation where my opponent's coming in low and I'm able to simply sprawl, right? Because it's very different if they're coming in low versus if they're coming in a standing position on that single, okay? So first option, he's came in, it could be that he was punching and he shot in, but now look, he's changed levels, he's already underneath me. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stuff his head and I'm gonna get this leg sprawled back and I'm gonna drop my hips. So I'm gonna stuff his head and then I'm gonna square my hips up and I'm gonna create these little frames on his hips. What this does is it makes it very difficult for Adam to sit through. If I'm over the top here, Adam can easily sit through and take my back, okay? So if you do manage to get those hips down in a sprawl, right, we're squaring up our hips and we're making our C's on his hips to slide back. So Adam's in low on a single. I have to immediately stuff his head, sprawl that hip back, my toe is to the mat, now I'm immediately squaring up, putting my C's on his hips, toes down, sliding back. Now I could go to the steering wheel, but if this is MMA, and you may want to just get an angle on your opponent here, put some head pressure. If he stays down there, I can strike. If he starts popping back up, I'm in a great position, right, to land some strikes as he comes to his feet. Now let's look at a standing situation, okay? It could be that he comes in standing, distracts me with a strike, he's in on it. Once again, I have to address this head. So he's a little bit high, so I can't push his head down, but what I can do is keep my whizzer, I can push his head out and get head position, okay? So I've got my whizzer, I've got head position. Just as a really basic wrestling one, I'm gonna pull this elbow, I'm gonna put my foot down and step down, and now I'm pummeling in, okay? So we're just getting back to neutral, okay? So he's in, he works his way in. Immediately I have to push his head out to get my head in proper position here. Now it's so hard for him to go through my head to get to my legs. Now if I wanna just get this foot on the ground, I'm gonna pull on the elbow, and I'm gonna step forward and down, strong hip, and now I'm gonna pummel in. Now we're in a neutral over-under position, okay? So that's a very basic wrestling one. Now, as a jiu-jitsu person myself, I'm gonna show you a more jiu-jitsu thing to do off of that same head position, okay? So this, I love this one because I like leg locks, but, so he gets in, I managed to get I've got my leg in there, and I've got my head position, okay? So now instead of grabbing his elbow, I'm gonna hook behind his leg there, okay? This is way better than what I've seen people just fly into rolling knee bars and stuff, and you get your face planted, okay, if they sprawl. If I go here, now my first option is to just sit Adam back, right? I extend this foot, I push with my head, I block here, right, and I sit him down. Now, if you like leg locks like I do, you can see where we're at here. I'm immediately going down to my false grip, getting that nice inside heel hook. So easy to finish from here. Very good leg lock position. Those of you that know leg locks, my legs are reasonably hidden, and he's on the recipient of that, or on the receiving end of that inside heel hook, just with a little bit of hip pressure that way. So Adam is once again in on the standing single leg. Once again, I'm able to push his head out and get head position. I'm scooting out at this angle. I'm gonna block behind his knee, okay? So now I've got my whizzer, I've got his knee blocked, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna extend this leg, and I'm gonna push this way, and I'm gonna sit him down. Okay, now, if you like leg locks like I do, I'm in inside Sankaku, I'm in honey hole position, I'm immediately coming right down, getting that nice false grip with my forearm parallel to the bottom of that foot. There's many ways to grip, okay? This is a really simple way, palm to palm. And now all I'm doing is basically bridging into the side of his hip, and I'm applying a little bit of a rotational force with my upper body. Everything has to be glued here, right? We want everything tight here, so then the smallest motion of my hips, right, is basically applying that rotational force here. You want to be really careful with your partners when you're doing this. Inside heel hooks can be very dangerous. So in my gym, if we're caught in that position and my opponent's got a perfect grip, then, you know, my workout partner, I'm tapping, right? So we don't want to test it. Another common thing that'll happen from this situation, when I get here, if he knows I want to sit him back, he won't let me sit him back. So if I can't sit back, I simply roll over my right shoulder. Now I'm in the exact same position, okay? This option, I'm going to show you a knee bar. So if I simply rotate my hips a little to face the back of his knee there, I'm going to take this hand, I'm going to control his heel. I'm going to turn, I'm going to glue his foot in between my shoulder and my head, okay? I'm going to pinch my knees, cross my feet, and now I am extending my hips, but I'm also going to apply a little bit of rotational pressure. So it's like a knee bar, but I'm applying a little bit of rotation by grabbing that heel with my left hand and pulling as I extend my hips, okay? Lastly, now let's say he's got it. I push him out, and instead of my leg being on the inside, I pop my head to the outside, okay? You also have to be really careful. When I flare my leg to the outside, if I didn't control Adam's head, he could immediately run this into a double leg, okay? So you would only pop your head out, you would only flare your leg out, right, if you're not letting him have head position, okay? So I'm going here. A really simple thing is here, I'm making like a little barrier for him in my forearm, okay? Now, it's so easy for me to use this hook to do a little jump knee. Okay, and if you guys are like, oh, that bullshit would never work, I did that on a college wrestler in one of my fights, so I know it works. And there's guys that are way better wrestlers than me, so if I can do it, it's a very doable move. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that. So now, another option is when I get his head out, not only can I jump knee, but I've got that push elbow, right? I'm pushing. If he comes into me, I've got that push elbow right there. In addition, we've got the jump knee. A lot of times you knee people in the face, all of a sudden they lose interest in that leg, and then I can get back to my position.